Claiming that Boruto is cancelled in 2026 is honestly one of the laziest takes that still keeps floating around online. I see these kinds of posts all the time, where people can't actually back them up with any real arguments, yet they still use them just to farm hype. I don't really agree with how easily statements like this spread, and I actually want to reassure fans because there are going to be a lot of interesting announcements coming soon from the creators. So make sure to drop a like, watch the video till the end, and let's get into the discussion. I started watching Boruto not as a fan, but more out of curiosity, and honestly out of exhaustion from the endless debates surrounding it. I expected to see something like an unnecessary sequel that was just milking the legacy of Naruto. But what I got was a completely different feeling, not just a story, but a transformation of the franchise happening right in front of you. And this is where the first strange feeling appears. It doesn't feel like an ending, but more like a pause before a shift in form. Then the time skip happened, and Boruto truly became something else. I'm not going to retell the plot. You either already know it, or can easily look it up. What I want to convey is something different, what I felt when I opened the first chapter of 2 Blue Vortex. It felt like someone had removed a filter. The comedic tone and predictability were gone. Instead, there was a darker world where former heroes had become almost like strangers to their own shadows, and the main character found himself in the position of an outcast, someone without a home and without recognition. Boruto grew up, and with him, the story itself grew up too. If we talk about whether it's worth diving into this universe in 2026, the answer is definitely yes, but with an understanding of how to approach it properly. The anime before the time skip is not something you necessarily need to watch in full. There is genuinely a lot of unnecessary content there. If you're a newcomer, it makes more sense to use guides for the canonical arcs. Skip the filler episodes and focus on the key events, the Ishiki arc and the final stage of Part 1. There is a more efficient way to watch Boruto, and many people still ignore it. My personal recommendation looks like this. Start with the movie Boruto, Naruto the Movie. It's canon, and does a great job introducing the central conflict between father and son, between inheritance and your own path. After that, go to the Momoshiki arc in the anime, roughly episodes 53-66. Then the Ishiki arc. And after that, you can jump straight into the 2 Blue Vortex manga. That way, you get a much more complete and coherent experience without unnecessary noise. It's also important to mention a major event called the Boruto 10th Anniversary Project. A lot of people are wondering what it actually is. In 2026, the Boruto franchise is marking the 10-year anniversary of the manga, which originally started in Weekly Shonen Jump in 2016. Official anniversary activities are gradually being revealed, and they basically show that the franchise is not in any sleep mode, but rather in a preparation phase for a new wave of hype. Among the already announced or discussed initiatives are anniversary art projects and visuals, collectible figures based on 2 Blue Vortex designs, special retrospective materials, expanded editions, and universe guidebooks. And while this doesn't directly confirm the return of the anime in 2026 or 2027, anniversary campaigns like this are often used as platforms for major announcements, whether that's new seasons or big media updates for the franchise. That's why many fans assume that during these events, we might see the first serious hints about the future of the anime. If I'm not mistaken, the Boruto 10th anniversary starts on May 9th, and if you want to stay updated with everything that gets revealed, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It's going to be very interesting, and I'll keep you updated on all developments. The 2 Blue Vortex manga in 2026 feels like a completely different level of storytelling. I've been reading it as it comes out, and I can confidently say it's the strongest phase of Boruto so far. It's also worth noting that for me, and for many others, Chapter 33 with Himawari was a surprising turning point. A character who was previously seen as secondary suddenly becomes central to a much more serious narrative dynamic, and it's honestly incredible. And Chapter 34, which is coming out in a few days, is building the foundation for the next major conflict. Jura, one of the Shinju, is not just a powerful enemy, but a being with a completely different logic of existence. I'll actually be making another video about this soon on the channel. And I'm convinced that when this gets adapted with high production quality, we'll see scenes that can stand alongside the best moments of Naruto Shippuden and Bleach in scale and impact. A lot of people still don't really understand who the Shinju are. I can briefly explain it, so you can see how much the franchise has evolved and how alive it still is. The Shinju are not just antagonists. They are structured in a way that allows them to absorb shinobi and inherit their form, power, and even memories. And that creates an entirely new type of threat. When your enemy looks at you with the face of someone you once knew, it changes the very nature of conflict. In that sense, Two Blue Vortex expands the mythology of the Ten Tails into a much more serious and complex interpretation than before. Boruto has long been criticized for supposedly living in Naruto's shadow, but in the current arc, things look different. He is someone the world has essentially pushed outside its boundaries, and yet, he keeps moving forward. Naruto sought recognition. Boruto is forced to exist without it. This creates a completely different philosophy for the story. Colder, lonelier, but also more mature. As for the anime, we can say with confidence that the Boruto anime is officially not cancelled. There are no confirmed statements about the project being shut down. Formally, the franchise remains active. At the same time, the return of the anime, at least in my humble opinion, could be connected to a more strategic approach, accumulating enough source material and shifting to a seasonal release model, similar to what happened with Bleach. This is not a fact, but rather the most common theory based on current industry trends. If this approach is indeed chosen, then the anime could potentially return in the coming years, but the exact timing is unknown at the moment. Hopefully, we'll learn more during the Boruto 10th anniversary, and if any information is revealed, I'll make sure to share it with you the same day. Just don't forget to subscribe, so you don't miss anything important. For me, Two Blue Vortex in 2026 doesn't feel like a sequel for the sake of a sequel, but rather an attempt to rethink the very idea of legacy. And that's exactly what makes the current stage of the franchise interesting to talk about and follow. Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like.